All right, good afternoon, folks. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you being in attendance. My name is Kenneth. I'm a student coordinator and a counselor at Asset School. This is my co-presenter, Christin. She's our K-8 art teacher. And so our session today, titled Leave No Stone Unturned, helping students identify their strengths and pursue their passions. Assets, we believe we have a unique approach to how we do this. And basically how we do this is through our enrichment program. And so what I'm here to share with you is information about enrichments, its purpose, but really I kind of want to focus in on our registration process for it and logistical issues that it varies school to school. And so I want to get into that and give you the opportunity to think about if this is something that you want to incorporate into your school. You're able to take away some of the things we've had to work through so that when you guys start the discussion with your leadership team, you may already have solutions to some of these questions. So some people, they'll refer to what we call enrichments as electives at most schools. And they're very similar, but there are some differences to them. For one, electives, they're normally graded at most schools. Electives, consist of the normal PE, some sort of music, a band. It could be art as an elective, but it's normally something that comes with a grade. Our enrichment program is completely non-graded. It has no letter grades, no number grades, and it has no standard-based evaluation. Like I said before, electives traditionally are traditional classes. So, your PE can be an elective. There's shop, wood shop, metal shop, a home economics sort of thing. We incorporate PE, performing arts, dramatic arts, fine arts into our normal curriculum. So those are things that all of our students are already going through each week. And so we offer a menu of other offerings such as Minecraft. For those of you that have kids that are familiar with that, we have Legos. We have all sorts of cooking options. We have jewelry making, yoga. We have stuff like that serve as our enrichment program. Most electives are either quarterly, semester, or trimester, depending on how your school operates. Our enrichment program is about 10 to 15 school days, and then the child will cycle on to something different. So it's real short, real compact. So power of enrichment, sorry, I know that's hard to see. The power behind our enrichments is it's completely student driven and student chosen. So in the past, we used to send forms home with the students and have them bring it back. One of the things we found out in doing that is parents were filling out the forms. Sometimes the kids didn't even know what their parents signed them up for, so they were coming to make changes. So to eliminate that and to really put the power back in the students' hands, we went online from school where the kids, and I'll get into how we do that later on, will cycle through our computer lab and they'll register what they want. It's a joyful experience for them. One thing that it does is it reassures students that they're capable learners. It's also something concrete that they can look forward to at the end of the day. We run enrichments 4 out of the 5 days a week. The only day we do not do it is Wednesdays, and that's a short day for us in general. Students are active participants. So I'm going to quote our principal, and he says, "It's important for children and adolescents to learn that education is not something that happens to you. Instead, learning occurs when you are an active participant in the process." Okay? And this is one of the things that is also really unique to us, and that's teachers as learners. And what that means is because our enrichment program is student driven, we don't always have teachers that know the course that the student has signed up for. So for instance, Minecraft, let's take Minecraft. That's one of our more popular enrichments. Right now, currently, we have a teacher in there that prior to coming to our school had really never heard of Minecraft. And so that teacher becomes a learner in that enrichment. That we have so many students. I mean, enrichment to some, or excuse me, Minecraft to some of our students is top level. I mean, it's a holy grail. I mean, it's just so important to them, and so they're able to teach that teacher so many things about it that she never could have learned just by researching on her own. We also have teachers that are teaching teachers. So we've had PD days where part of the day was carved out where we offered a menu of different enrichment options that each teacher could go to and learn from each other, so that when we start cycling through again, they're able to do multiple things. So I think we did glass etching. I think we had a rocketry one. And we've done mud work, so all sorts of different things. It's also important to note that when teachers join a student's class as an adult learner, so when a teacher is joining these enrichments that they're not familiar with, we're communicating to our community that learning is an endless journey. So we're setting an example as adults for our students that it never ends. Okay, so I want to focus in on registration for a little bit and the process that we go through. So at least once a year, we get teacher and we get student input. So we survey the teachers and basically just ask, hey, what are you interested in? What do you want to offer based off your life experience that you may offer? We've had teachers that have offered languages, cultural classes, some are into different kinds of cooking, different kind of arts. We also survey the students once a year and ask what kind of things they would like to see. Granted, a lot of times you'll get things from the students that they're just not feasible. It's not safe. So we've had students ask for skateboard ramps to do, the skateboarding enrichment, and they've asked for surfing. They've asked, and it's things that are very, they're reasonable, they're good, but we can't do. But they've also suggested, like we have one running right now. I don't know if anybody's heard of BuildBox. One of our students, it's a program that they can basically go in and program kind of simple games that they can then register, and it's actually a game that you have forever. And so one of our students, really pursued that, and we were able to make it happen, and it's actually currently going right now, and it's going great. So what I want to do is I want to take you through what our students do in registering for enrichments. And so this is what the form looks like that the students will come into our computer lab. Our school only has one computer lab, so we make a schedule that we get every class in there. Depending on the class, some will take 15 minutes, some may take 30, some may take up to 45 minutes. So one thing that we still do is we still do offer the hard copy of what's going to be offered, and you'll see it on here. So this is a hard copy that I just have on the form, but we'll send this out to certain classes who will have their students kind of list 1 through 8 we ask for, what they would like to take. You can see some of them have descriptions, and some of these, like this was one that one of our teachers, play production, had suggested to us this year. Creative movement is another one. So we have a lot of things, and you can see BuildBox up there that are both from students and teachers, and we'll start them up here. And I want to click on a few of these videos and let you just watch them, and you're kind of getting an idea of what our students go through. Okay, and I'll just show you one more. Yeah. Okay, so all of these videos are on the student registration form, and the beautiful thing about this is these videos were all made by the 1 Minute Movie Enrichment. So these are all student-made videos that are on here. So, you know, not a lot of the enrichments that we have, these kids are getting to see their product out there. So these videos will stay on our registration form, you know, and we'll only add more. Let me take you through their register. The lights can come back on. You guys, everybody can see okay, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna fill it out as myself. So we'll walk them through these steps, and I wanna fill it out because I wanna show you where it goes and then how it gets into the scheduling after. So they'll fill out, you know, all the top stuff. We'll usually have them do that together as a group. From here, we'll kind of let them go at their own pace. These videos that we had made, this was kind of our pilot group. So a lot of these enrichments, they're pretty much mainstays. They happen all the time. They're really self-explanatory. We're gonna start getting into more videos that get into the enrichments that need more explanation so the kids can actually see what they're getting into. So we'll let them watch. They can do, watch every video if they want, watch only a few. Otherwise, they'll have this to go off of as well. After they've looked it over, they kind of know what they want. You know, they'll start coming up here and filling in what they want as their first choice. We'll just say brush spots. You know, one of the difficult things with this is if I choose brush spots as number one, it won't take it out of the second, third, and fourth selection. So it's just really making sure you let them know that they need to choose 8 or however many you set different enrichments, and it's usually not a big problem. Hasn't been a problem for us at all. So I'm just kind of going through and I selected brush spots twice. Okay, so once they've selected what they want, they'll click submit. They'll get, you know, the thank you, and then what happens from here is it will go to a spreadsheet automatically. So you can see right here, everything that I just did, it automatically listed it out, and it does that based on how you set up the Google form. And that's something that if anybody's interested in, you know, I'll be available through phone, email, or whatnot, that I can definitely help you do that. But it breaks it down in their first choice, second choice, third, all the way through however many you decide to set. And from here, whoever you decide the scheduler would take over. In this case, for assets, it's myself. So what I'll do is I'll show you now what the process is for myself, scheduling the students. And I work off of 2 spreadsheets and 1 kind of art long paper to get everybody scheduled. And this is the first spreadsheet that I work off of. So right now what you're basically seeing is the way I have it set up is student's name, this is their classroom, and then their choices. And the ones that are highlighted, one thing I make sure, as long as we're offering it, everybody will get their first choice at some point. as long as we're offering it. A lot of times, you know, we're offering 30 plus classes. They're gonna get 5 before they register for new ones again. So what happens is you have students that have like rock band for the first one. That's not something that we're gonna be able to offer this first one because we don't have the equipment working right now for it, right? So unfortunately for this student, they wouldn't get their first one, but it's definite that they would get their second choice. Everybody else, they will get their first choice. The ones that are marked red, that simply means I put them in it already. They've done it, so I know not to schedule it again. We're very upfront that, you know, sometimes you will go deep into your selection where you'll end up with your 8th one, your 6th one you can see on here, or your 7th one. Again, it just depends on what you're able to offer based off your resources, who you have available to teach it, and if you have enough students that are interested in it overall to have it run. So I start at the top, and I basically just work my way down. And on my piece of paper, you know, I'm already writing down Minecraft, cooking, games and sports, and that's the main 3 that I'm already writing, and rocketry. That's the main 4 that we know there's gonna be enough kids to run that one. So on my paper, I have those ones written down and I'm already adding kids to it. As I go through it, I start to see other ones that I'm just seeing over and over: free draw, drawing and painting, cupcake magic. Then I'm starting to fill those in as we go along. Once I have everybody set, I've gone top to bottom. Some cases, it's hard for me to find an enrichment for that person the first time through. So I'll simply highlight their name yellow, and that just tells me I need to come back to it. I might have to switch somebody around. I might have to give somebody their 4th choice in the first 2 sessions so that, you know, somebody else who that's the only thing they're interested in right now can get in. And then I'll go back later on and try to work them back. So once I've set everybody, you know, I've got no yellows across the names, I'm ready to input. I move over to another spreadsheet that basically just houses who took what when. So the red in this case, we're done with enrichment session 1. We're done with enrichment session 2. Right now, the white, we're in enrichment session 3 currently. So that's why it's still white. So when teachers go on to look at this, they don't have to try to find exactly where. They just know that the red, we're done. I need to find this student. I'm looking in the white, and then they can find them by the class. And then if need be, they can find them by the enrichment itself. And so all teachers have access to this. And then I'll just show you really quick in case anybody needs to see it. If you go into Google Drive and you just click on New, down here you see Google Forms. That's where that registration sheet came from, just clicking on that. And then it's just up to you. There's so many different options in how to set up a form. You can do multiple choice things. You can do just by list. You can do question and answer. You can survey them off this. There's just so much that you can do off of this. So, you know, anybody that's interested in kind of putting something like that together, you know, we can always get together later on and talk about that. So mixed in with the registration process, once you've gotten through that, you know, and you're ready to assign your students to the various enrichments, now we got to start looking at actually before that, you really need to look at the staffing and the resources that you have available to you. What's going on with this? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, while this loads. So with the staffing, the resources available to you, for instance, for us, this is 2 years ago when I started this, we had 2 different enrichment sessions. So we broke it down in 1:25 p.m. That was kind of our older group that would do it, our 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders. And we also had a 2:10 time slot. And we were still sharing a campus with the high school. So the amount of space we had was far more limited. This year, the high school moved to the AOP campus. And so now we've had more rooms available, more resources available. So we unified to everybody has enrichments at the same time now. So it helps in terms of having the space available. Scheduling wise, it presented a few more challenges that I didn't foresee, but it hasn't derailed anything. It just presented a few more challenges. So that's also just something else to think about when you start talking about how you want to break down a program like this. One thing to ask staffing wise is who's going to teach these enrichments? Are you going to have assets? Again, we're unique in the way we run our school, and we have 2 teachers in every classroom. We have resource teachers available. So for you guys, are you going to have, your single teachers also do the enrichments? Is every teacher going to be involved? Are you going to involve the counselors? Are you going to involve administrators? I've taught an enrichment in the past. I've taught one over the summer. I've taught one in the regular school year. Will the teachers need a prep? For certain enrichments, they need prep. Certain enrichments are mindless. They don't need prep. Also, who's going to schedule your enrichment? Scheduling it's a very big job. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of coordination. I'm fortunate in our situation that it's me, just because in my role as coordinator and counselor, I meet all the students. I get to know all the students. I know the relationships. You really have to think about certain students shouldn't be together. Maybe there are students and teachers that shouldn't be together. So when you start deciding whether or not this is something that you're going to do, that's one of the things that you should move to the forefront is who's going to be the scheduler. It should be somebody that knows your students, that knows the relationships between peers, that knows the relationship between student and teacher. You also want to consider, one of the variables of this to consider is developmental grouping. So in the past, when we had the 2 groups running, we had 125 and 210. The 5th and 6th grade, they were kind of caught in the middle of it because of our numbers. We kind of had to have some of the 5th and 6th grade classes go with the younger group. Right now, as we're kind of unified, we still have the same questions to answer in terms of developmental groupings. And, can we put a 3rd and 4th grader with a 5th, 6th grader? Can we put a 3rd, 4th grader with a 7th grader? Certain enrichments you can, other enrichments you can't, and I'll break it down to something even like dodgeball. We're running dodgeball right now. And in the past, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th would have all combined into one dodgeball group. And sometimes that's fine. A lot of times that's not. And so one of the things we've stepped back and did this session was 5th and 6th have their own dodgeball group. 7th and 8th have their own dodgeball group. So it's going to take longer to run it. We're going to have to do it over 2 sessions to get everybody through it. But it's safer. It's, for the kids, it's just a better environment for them. And then, same thing. What are the resources available to you? Classrooms available, fields available. At Assets, we have a large backfield area. We have a basketball court area. We have kind of a middle of the parking lot grass area, and we also have Lynch Field. So we have a lot of outdoor resources. We have an art room. We have a dramatic arts room. You know, a ton of classrooms now, one kitchen, one science room. So, you know, we're never able to run, like cooking is very popular. Cooking and cupcake magic, very popular. So when we went from 2 sessions, a 125 and a 205, when we combined it to 1, that took a hit for us because now we only have 1 kitchen to share and we can't run cupcake magic and cooking at the same time. And we have to break that down by age appropriate. You know, so those kind of resources along with budget. Obviously, enrichments, they need a budget. Some enrichments, it'll be a one-time buy, like Legos. You might just buy a whole lot, and it's a one-time buy. That enrichment will never use another dime. Others are constantly costing money. Clockmaking right now costs about $15 a student, you know, for 10 to 15 days. You know, rocketry, I can't begin to tell you, you know, it adds up, right? And those are constant. They use every time. And so you really got to answer that for yourselves as well. What happened to it? Okay, so I'll get into, we had a video that we were going to show, if I can get it. Oh, you have it? It won't even let me move this off. Oh, perfect. Okay. Make sure it's in the center of there.
Sorry.
Can you make it full screen? Yeah. You can do your part.
Okay, so we're going to skip over to my part. So I'm the art teacher at Asset School, and I have had the unique benefit of taking enrichments as a student because I graduated from Assets, and now I'm the teacher there, so I actually teach them. So one of the things that I learned that I thought was really beneficial about Assets is that it really speaks to the whole child in developing their interests. And so at a really early age, I loved art, and I was dyslexic. And so at school, I struggled, and although I had wonderful teachers, I didn't necessarily incorporate the arts into the everyday experience of going to school. And so Enrichments provided a really wonderful opportunity for me to really explore my passions and my love. And every single month, I got to learn a new type of art. So I learned stained glass, printmaking, different kind of painting. I think I did oil painting one time. And so it really solidified my love for art. And then for college, I went on and I studied art, and then I came back to Assets, and I'm an art teacher. So I personally believe it's really powerful, and the benefits are enormous. My sister also went to Assets. She took a criminology enrichment, and she went on to Chaminade, and she actually studied forensic science. So it's an enormously beneficial program, and the students all say that it's their favorite part of the day. And it's just really cool that we incorporate their interests into the academic school day. So while you're still doing that, shall I do the interactive part? Okay,
I think we got it.
I was going to walk you through. You got it? If the video doesn't work, I will walk you through.
No, we got it.
That's the end.
Oh, hold on. That's the end. Why is it playing the end?
Go to slide all the way that way.
Right here?
Yeah, move this and go that way. Can it go farther?
Oh, yeah.
So this is a video that we made where we interviewed the students, and they talked a little bit about what they like about enrichments and how they feel it's important and their favorite part about it.
She's the beginning, right? Yeah.
We'll start right there.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then hit the space bar. That'll play it, and then go to full screen. So if we had the 1 minute movie enrichment like this probably would have gotten a lot better.
You're probably want to force quit out of PowerPoint. PowerPoint's probably what's doing it. Next to the keyboard, Command, Option, Escape.
Where's option?
That should pop up the force quit menu.
If we hit this, will that force quit?
Nope. Dude, it was working fine right before. Okay, there we go.
Oh, now it's playing.
When we first came here, I was like, enrichments, like in the day kind of thing, you know, like it's like recess, but it's really not. My daughter learned to trade. She was making jewelry, and she started her own business. It was called Two Princesses, and her and her friend made jewelry, and they did some crafts.
Can't even hear her.
And she learned the value of money and then how to buy her beads. And she had a great time doing that. But one of our favorite enrichments is duct tape. So duct tape wallets. She's very creative. She's made frames. The rocketry was fun. I just think enrichments, it just gives a kid a chance to explore new, amazing opportunities. And like she took the one and made it into a business. But she's taken the others and just made it into lots of fun.
I think enrichments are important because they're fun.
I think enrichments give you the opportunity to have fun, to learn, to have a creative mind, and give you the opportunity to spend time with friends.
I think enrichments are important because to explore your creativity.
So enrichment starts will offer a number of things to our students. One, they give them something to look forward to and a reason to come to school. Secondly, they give them an option in terms of where they can learn about other things that aren't in the standard school curriculum, so they can explore those interests. Sometimes they find talents, other affinities. And then third, because we have self-contained classrooms, it's a nice way for kids to get out of their classroom and get to know and socialize with other kids and get to know other teachers on a daily basis.
My favorite part about enrichments would probably be the 3D printing because it's cool to see the plastic filament being layered onto the other pieces of plastic, and I think it's pretty cool how it's like that.
Doing whatever you want at the end of the day.
I think that enrichment is a fun way to end the day.
Favorite enrichment is Minecraft
Because why?
Minecraft. Because you get to build stuff.
And you also get to learn new interests and like learn things you wouldn't learn in normal school.
Enrichments are fun because like you can make things that you bring it back home. Like you can keep it at school and you can bring it back home and keep it, and it's fun to do because you can make stuff that you never made before.
The reason why enrichments are so important in our program is because many of the students come to us because they've struggled in other schools. Even the students who are advanced academically or intellectually struggle with things like executive function or not having been well understood. So anyway, for their struggles, they come here and it's an academic setting, and we try to address that by providing them what they need at their level of need. But because of their struggles, many of them feel, especially the ones with struggles in reading or writing or math, they put in a lot of effort into their learning, and it can be very tedious and slow moving, and the message that they take from that they demean themselves in some way, they figure that there's something wrong with them, as opposed to just needing a different way to learn. And so, in coming here, they've been identified more by their weaknesses than by their strengths or their interests. Not all, but a large number. And so for these kids, it's really important that they have a more balanced perspective of who they are as learners, and these enrichments provide them very necessary counterbalance in their learning profiles, because when they sign up for these enrichments, they're being guided by their curiosity and by their interest. The opportunities that enrichments provide allow them to venture in, and perhaps sometimes these kids really fly, they bloom when they're doing something that brings them joy, and they see that they are capable learners. They can put in the time, they put in the energy, and they can take off in ways that are pretty amazing. And that validates for them their capacity as learners to be able to acquire information and move forward in a real positive way, because they don't necessarily get that academically. So that's why enrichments are really important. It just helps them to complete their profile. It reminds them that they are capable learners if you're not necessarily doing academics. And it just helps them to know that who they are is defined by many things, and the enrichments help them to do that.
Okay, sorry about the way that looked. It worked every day up until this moment just now. So right now, Christin is gonna go around and pass out some paracord material. We're gonna do a quick demonstration, and she's gonna do that as I try to get this loaded for the last couple slides. Hopefully it works out. Okay, I don't know if this PowerPoint, oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, I'll just kind of talk through it. I don't know if it's gonna get itself worked out. So just to kind of recap some of the reasons behind enrichment and the benefits and purpose that it provides. Student autonomy. It gives the students power to choose, power to direct their learning, their education. It focuses on fun and learning, and the key thing, fun and learning. So the fact that it's non-graded, it's a stress reliever in that sense. And when you think about it, it's also for your teachers or for whoever does have to lead it, being that it's non-graded, it's kind of a stress reliever for them as well. It just kind of allows them to go into it without having to think about evaluating something, grading something, and just to have fun and enjoy the experience with the students. it reminds and it reignites in students that learning is full of awe and wonder. And so it, you know, it keeps them kind of itching for more, feeding for more. And it's a booster for the students, right? You guys heard in that last video, you know, these students, especially at our school, they struggle throughout the day. You know, we have math, we have reading, we have writing, we have all kinds of things that are just difficult by nature. And this is something that it does pose challenges, but when you think about the challenges in this setting, it's a totally different feel. And the way that it's internalized with the students is it's not the same challenge as solving math equations and you know, learning writing and reading skills and whatnot. It's a challenge that they embrace and that they really take hold of and really attack. It's also a positive experience socially because these students are now able to get out of their homeroom classes and they're able to mix it up with other friends that they have in other classes, right? It also provides positive interactions and helpful interactions between them. Educationally, it's, you know, similar to what I just said about it being a confident booster for them, but also they're learning a skill. And again, I'll come back to this. One of the big things, and you hear this in sports a lot, is for us, you know, it's not about, in sports, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish games and practices and whatnot. You know, we kind of have that same thing. It's not, you know, we're saying that, look, the day might start rough for you. Things are happening at home, things are happening at school, but at the end of the day, we're gonna end with something positive. You're gonna get that W to go home and kind of leaving you not, you know, can't wait to come back for more. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Christin. I had my contact info on the last slide. I don't think it's gonna show for you for whatever reason. So if anybody is interested, oh, hey, hold on, let's see if I can get it. It's just my email address, come on. Give it to me. All right, there we go. Okay, so if anybody would like to talk further or have, you know, questions, we'll have some question and answer time if you'd like after, but after we leave here, if there's anything that comes to mind, you know, feel free, shoot me an email. You know, also, we're always open to having visitors, you know, come in and take a look at our, you know, our program and what we're doing at Asset. So if that's something that you're interested in, you know, please feel free to get with me on that, and you know, we can definitely make that happen.
What's between the assets and the school? Is that a plus?
That is a dash.
It's a dash.
Yeah. KPOWELL at assets-school.net.
Kenneth, real quick, how long
Yes,
do
sir.
the sessions last?
They're 40 minutes.
I mean, I'm sorry, the term, the length, the term of it, is it, I think you mentioned 1.15 days.
10 to 15 days, yeah. So I match it up. Our school operates in trimesters, so I match it up to each trimester, so they average out to 10 to 15 days. The other thing, and thanks for, you know, that kind of reminded me, you're gonna have kids that want to make changes, you know, that tried it out, it's just really not for them. We allow it. I make them stay in the enrichment for the first 2 days of it, just to really make sure that it's, you know, that you've given it a real chance. The reason I do that is because we did switch to this system of you selected it. You know, it was harder before when it was going home and really didn't know if the child was choosing it or if the parent did. But now that we know that the child is choosing it, I kind of have them stay in it the first 2 days. Obviously, you know, you run it the way you want to run it, but at Assets, that's just the way we do it, and I allow them to change out until they find one that, you know, is interesting to them. Yes, ma'am.
You say 10 to 15 days, how many days a week is it?
4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate just a quick little example of something that a student may learn in one of the enrichments. So this is a paracord example. This right here is just a zipper pull. So the student learns how to make the knot, and then you put this through the zipper and you just kind of put this through there, and then it holes on the zipper. So we're going to make this together step by step. So I'm going to demonstrate here, and so look up there. Okay, so first you are going to take your string, you're going to fold it in half. I'll demonstrate up here for now. Fold it in half. Put the fold, half fold, towards you, facing you, just like that. Then you are going to take one of the strings, it doesn't matter which side you work on, and you are going to bend it at about 4 to 6 inches. You're going to bend it towards you, loop it around and over the 2 strings, just like that. Okay, then you are going to take the other string. I like to put my finger over the fold just to keep it in place. We're going to take the other string and we're just going to bring it over that first string. Does everyone have that? So you just take it, bring it over. So it should look like this right now. And then we are going to take the string that we just put over and we're going to dip it underneath everything and pull it through this loop right here. So we're just going to lift and pull it through so it looks a little bit like a pretzel. Just like that. Once you have that, I like to hold down here, and then you're just going to pull on the strings, and this is going to tighten into a knot. Be careful not to let the knot move down to the bend. Just leave it up there. So it will look like this. Everybody have that? Okay. So moving on, so you see that there is one loop that comes over the string. We want to start on this side. So there's one going this way and there's one going up and down. So we're going to take the string on this side. We're going to loop it over just like we did in the beginning, like that. We're going to take the second string, this one, and we're going to bring it over that string. And we're going to take it under and we're going to bring it through the loop up here. So we're just going to lift and come through, and it looks like a pretzel again. I can do that again. So we started off with the knot. We brought it over. We're going to bring the other string up and over, and then we're going to lift it and pull it through the loop, just like that. Once you have that, you pull both strings and you make a knot. So you're working towards yourself. And if you're ready, so we start again. So now the loop over is on the other side. So we're going to take the string on that side. We're going to go over the loop. Take the opposite string and go over that string that we just used. Then we're going to again take it under and bring it out through this loop right here. And then it should make the pretzel again. Then you pull it tight. And you can kind of see how it's beginning. So it's the same motion again, so you just switch sides each time you do that. You just look for the loop that goes over, and that's the side that you work on. So again, we're going to take our string over, take our opposite string, go over that string that we just had, and we're going to tuck it under and bring it through the opposite loop. Am I going too fast? No? Okay. And then tighten. Okay. Then we'll do it, I think, one more time. So we'll bring, the loop is on this side coming over. So we'll take our string across. Take our opposite string, bring it over that string. And then we're going to tuck this string under and come out our opposite end. So we're going to go under and through to make that pretzel, and then tie it tight. So you should have something that looks like this, where you have a loop, you have the knots, and then you have something that looks like 2 arms. What I like to do at that point is you can just cut off the strings, and people use lighters to just kind of heat the ends and just kind of bind them. I like to use hot glue when working with students, So that works just as good, I think. And you just kind of melt that and just kind of press it into the table and it'll flatten it and it looks really good. And so then you have your finished product and it's just a zipper pull. So that's one really easy, simple project that kids learn in paracord. And they make all sorts kinds of great stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that. We also have another takeaway. Another enrichment that we do is brush bots. So you can, I don't know if you've heard of this, but you can actually purchase these kits. There's a student who started his own company and he actually makes these kits. I think they're about $5 each. The link to get that is in this handout, and this is the handout that we give the students. It gives the instructions. They go through a little booklet that talks about open circuits and closed circuits, and there's a questionnaire at the end about electricity. And so just to show you guys what one actually looks like, this is a really popular enrichment, is it's literally just a battery, and there's 2 wires, and you tuck the wires into, what is this called? The ends? Let's see. And it will actually, I don't know if you can see this. It's not running. Of course it's not running. But it will actually run. It's like a little mini robot. It's being very weak right now. So the kids love this, and they'll decorate these. They'll put little animal pictures, and they'll do races. They have brush spot Olympics. So this is really cool. So feel free to come on up. You can take a look at the kit and the finished product, and there's also a takeaway pamphlet if you want to take this and try to incorporate this into your own classroom. And I believe that's it.
Okay, so I've just put back up here just so you can look at, this is part of the menu of enrichments that we offered the kids this go around. So basically from this, they chose 8. They were in the 3rd session right now. They will get a total of 5 before winter break. And prior to winter break, they'll come back in through the lab and they'll kind of go through the same process again. And before that, teachers will have offered input as to if they want to see something else on here, they want to offer something else. But this is just kind of, a little bit of what we offer. I think about 30 is what we put on the sheet for them to choose from. So right now, I'll just open it up. If anybody has any questions, we're happy to answer. Yes, sir.
How do the teachers sign up for, how do you know which teacher will teach?
So I haven't done it yet this year, but last year I sent out kind of a list of, after the students registered, I glance and I just look at what's popping up over and over and over. And I put those onto a list and I send it out and I just say, hey, these enrichments are going to happen at some point. Please tell me what you're interested in. The one that I usually have a hard time, you can imagine why finding a teacher for, is Mudworks. And yeah, 2 reasons. One, it's outdoors and, obviously it's been extremely hot as of late. 2, it's mud. And normally it's the kindergartners through 4th graders that are the ones that want to take it. I do have a couple teachers that have experience in it, and so we kind of do have that agreement that, hey, if I don't have anybody that wants to do it, do you mind doing it? And our teachers are pretty good about stepping up to those kind of things. Yes.
What do you guys do? Like, do they just have like a month?
They make. So I've never done it. Oh, here we go. Perfect.
They make like booklets and or we add different things together to make things together to make something else. So a lot of it is chemical reaction and add glue and borax to make your gap or whatever. So we do different every day. The students would make different things. So the little kids really enjoyed it. Sometimes they do with shaving cream or other things. Yeah, so it's flour.
Yeah. They've done the gummy, what is it, gummy worm in the dirt? No, yeah, not that kind, but yeah.
Flubber, there's silly putty,
Clay.
Yeah.
yeah, the salt Play-Doh.
the other, I should have mentioned too, the other consideration too is in talking about the budget and this, these things do cost money. Our teachers go out and pick up the materials they need for the enrichment. I try as hard as I can to rotate them through enrichments that don't always cost money. So like I said, the Legos, so that they're not constantly having to go out and use their own money. Our turnaround reimbursement it's quick, so it usually doesn't hurt, but sometimes it's just difficult. Some teachers just have that certain skill set that everything they do and want to do involves having to go out and pick up materials. So when you guys start to look at this kind of program, thinking about who's going to actually go out and purchase the materials is really something that you want to think about, because it does get very pricey for certain enrichments. Any other questions?
How did you decide on these particular classes? Did the teachers express an interest in teaching those kinds of things?
So some of these, this is my third year at Asset. Most of these have been here before I got here. So I couldn't answer that question specifically. I can tell you right now, I didn't even realize she was still here, but our dramatic arts teacher got us the play production, the creative movement, and there's a scene study down there at the bottom. And improv is up there, yes, improv. And then our current PE teacher started this fitness assessment systems training one. So since I've been here doing it, there are quite a few up there that are from the teachers. Certain ones on there, block and roll, even clock making, coinstruction, computer, those were there, before I got there. So I wouldn't be able to tell you those ones specifically.
And some of the teachers do, I used to teach enrichments. I taught Wayana, where we actually built, kind of a small lobby. It's only 15 days, right? And so we had, we learned all about different cultures and stuff. And we did a little lobby, and we made toys, we did, we quote and different things. So it's all to the teacher, and what the teachers might want to offer.
Yeah, and then we'll always rotate. Like I said, the ones that are always going will always be on there, but poi ball art, for instance, not too many signed up for it, so when we bring them back in to register again, that one would probably not be on there, but something else suggested would take that place, and then maybe next year I'll put it back on when there's another kind of group of students. Yes, ma'am.
Do the kids, you said these last 10 to 15 days, do they take one right after the other, or is it only a few times a year?
No, they take it back to back to back.
Okay.
So we'll go 10 to 15 days. I'll usually, if we end on a Friday, I'll usually leave Monday, Tuesday, and we never have on Wednesday open, and then we'll start on Thursday. We end on Tuesday, we'll usually start the following Monday, but they go back to back to back. It's not an option to not do it. Sir?
To tag along to that question, so one, is the reason you have it during the day so that everyone gets an opportunity to participate? And then secondly, have you noticed change in the culture of the teaching in terms of how much fun and reaction you're getting, and obviously career out of some of these in the other courses, like, hey, the kids are having so much fun doing projects, I think we should do more project-based learning.
Yeah, well, to answer your first one, yeah, we do it during the day so everybody can participate. Like I said, we have 2 teachers to every class. So our structure is set where that there's a lead and there's a second that share responsibilities, but the responsibility of enrichment falls on the second teacher. And so to answer your next question, yeah, there is definitely that pedigree. I would say that there's certain things that have happened in enrichment that have actually driven classroom instruction. The teachers have learned something from an enrichment course that they've tried to incorporate into what they're doing with maybe their math group or with their project-based learning group. the most recent one I've heard that I've come across just recently is the teacher that's in Minecraft, that was in Minecraft, having learned about some of the things that you're capable of doing in it. She took it into the classroom and used it in social studies as in creative mode to kind of ignite the kids that way. Just going through what they really like, to have them do something differently. Learn in a different way.
Absolutely. That's great.
Yeah.
You
Sorry.
had mentioned this, I may have missed it, but is there a specific time of day usually when this normally is?
Yeah, so we do it at the end of the day because, like I said, we want to end on a high note after a rough day. So our school ends at 2:55. Our enrichment starts at 2 o'clock and it goes till 2:40, and then we leave. We're part of responsive classroom, and so part of our practice is to have a closing circle within our community. So we leave enough time for that. So part of the reason why we went to this unified 2 o'clock was because, you had the 125 group that finished at 2:05, and now you had, the day is kind of broken, right, the afternoon, because now they're coming back from such a fun experience, and now you got to get them back in learning mode for all of 40 minutes, and it was difficult, and to me, it just it took a little bit away from just really ending the day on something positive. So every day for us at 2 o'clock to 2:40. Yes, ma'am.
Besides dyslexia, what other children do you have? ADHD?
Yes, yeah, ADHD, we have kids on the spectrum. Yeah, we have all sorts. Yeah.
Something similar, our school, we're a small school. We have about 60 middle school kids. We're doing with 6th through 8th grade. We call them choice electives. But this is their 3rd year. And the problem we're having, I did the scheduling, is that we want the kids to experience different things.
Mhm.
So ours is a trimester long class instead of the shorter rotation.
Mhm.
What happens when they start repeating? Because it's a scheduling.
Yeah, so one thing we don't do is we don't normally do back-to-back electronics, even if it's a different kind of, we'll usually break that up. Within the first 5, so I break it up by the winter break, we don't let them repeat. We're a little more, we're okay more so with like physical ed enrichments though, just because, exercise and whatnot, but we find different ways. So I'll break up the games in sports to sport specific, basketball, soccer, dodgeball, so that, they're kind of doing the same thing in terms of physical education, but it's a different, game. But we don't allow repeat within the first. And then when they sign up again, where it becomes difficult is I try to make sure that other kids still get certain shots at an enrichment before I cycle kids back into it again.
We found we're doing like 8th graders at first choice and work our way down. They know that eventually they'll get their first choice because of what we've done in our program.
Yeah.
Do you sense like we have some issues with kids getting frustrated that they wanted the class and they didn't get it? Have you experienced that and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, we do. It's not a big problem because I don't schedule it in a hierarchy like that, 8th grade down. I actually schedule it the other way around. I go youngsters up. But the way they understand that, look, we have 5 of these sessions and they are so short. So the problem is different because you guys go longer. They're kind of more anxious to to have that versus they know, in 13 days, okay, I'm gonna switch out to the next one.
This sounds so tempting. I think this would solve some of the problems with the longer class.
It could. I mean, it could, but it does create, like you said, more of a scheduling headache in terms of now you have more that you got to keep track of. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just a quick comment, I just wanted to thank you guys for this. It really makes me think, like what you guys were saying, one of these things could be your thing. You don't have to commit to a whole semester course, and that really excites me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that.
And just so you guys know, it was the build box, the create your own games without coding. That was actually a 4th grader, I think, that was the one that really advocated for that and made it happen for our school. Unfortunately, I'll tell you, it's too expensive for us to sustain. but it's where we were able to run it long enough to get, I think 90% of the kids that had it in their top 6 were already able to do it, and then the rest will get it before we have to cycle it out because the pricing is pretty expensive, but even our youngsters do.
For some of these things?
We have not got grants at this point. I don't know if, I haven't pursued them. Like I said, I'm only in my 3rd year.
You know, sources for this kind of enrichment.
Mhm.
You could get funding for it.
Something that we'll have to look into as a school, definitely.
There's no additional cost, it's all covered under tuition.
The students don't get charged, correct, yeah, yeah. Students don't get charged, not a dime. And then they get to keep what they make. They get to keep what they make, you know, so. Well, thank you guys. We'll stick around for a little bit if anybody has anything else they want to ask us or whatnot, but thank you guys for being here.